What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about mastering your emotions, especially as a man. So many people in this world, they're so focused on trying to be, the best, the biggest top dog, that whenever they aren't, they start to get emotional. They start to, want to become rebellious, or they start doing the most, right? They start getting anger, they start getting jealousy, envy towards other people. It could be your own friends, it could be your own family, whoever. And the thing is that people start to become emotional when they're lacking something else. That's one thing that I've learned, that, if you feel like you're starting to become emotional, it's because you're rather gaining one of the attributes that I just said about someone else. You're starting to learn that with you trying to fit into all these other groups, or figuring out who you want to be, you start to become emotional when you're not in those places, or you're not in those groups and with the right people. Right? When you're not successful, you start to become super emotional. You start getting depressed, and it doesn't always have to be an anger feeling. It could be like a sad feeling. It could be happy, right? It doesn't have to be anything specific, but it's just emotion, right? And what a lot of people don't realize is that they are super emotional, and that's normal. I mean, we're all human, but the thing is that you got to learn how to control your emotions. When you're in situations, when you're in arguments, when you're in public, and you can't just lash out, you can't just crash out, you got to learn how to be able to maintain your emotions. You got to learn how to be able to have a conversation with the person that you want to have a conversation with, or you got to learn how to hold it in and talk about something later. And what people want to do is that they want their way. That's really where emotion comes from. If something doesn't go their way, they get emotional. If something doesn't go their way, they want to be able to let other people know how they feel about it. They just got heartbroken. Okay, let's go ahead and lash out. Let's crash out. Let me let this other person know that I was in a relationship with, that they really hurt me. Oh, this coach is talking down on me. I really want to storm off, and I want to, I want to lash out, right? I want to let them know that they really hurt me, that I'm angry, that I'm mad, right? People are so quick to want to be emotional, and you got to learn how to control that. Whenever you control your emotions, you start taking yourself out of situations you didn't have to be in. You don't have to be so violent all the time. You don't have to raise your voice all the time. You don't have to be in a place where you feel like you need to cry all the time, And so many people are so emotional, but they don't realize it, or they just hide it very well. And one of the things that I've realized in my life is that, I used to, whenever I would lose a game, I would be super, super petty. I'd be like, they'd be like, all right, well, say good game, or say be a good sport. And I'd be like, no, I just lost. Why would I go say good game, and why would I shake their hand and try to be super nice to them? I just lost to them. But you got to learn that you can't just be crashing out and lashing out anytime something doesn't go your way. Life is going to happen, and you got to learn how to maneuver and to adjust with that. But one of the key things that I've learned, especially in my life, is that you got to be in control of your emotions. For me, growing up around a bunch of females was really big. I didn't realize how much emotional intelligence it would teach me of how to deal with them, and knowing how to maneuver in conversations. My mom would come at me, and I'm not saying this is always negative, but she would come at me sometimes, and she might have had a day, and she's letting it out on me because she's got a little tone in her voice, or she might be quick to judge about something that I've done, or the dishes aren't cleaned properly, so now she has to say something about it. And instead of me reacting with emotion, you have to be, one of the parties has to be calm and collected. And that's what's going to really de-escalate any situation. If both of you guys are having emotional wars, then nothing is really going to get solved. All of a sudden, you guys are going back and forth trying to communicate, but you're just screaming at each other, and nothing is really being heard. One of you guys have to be the person to just calm down. That way you can actually have a logical conversation, or a logical moment. And what a lot of people like to do is that they like to have the emotional riled up conversation, or they like to have the riled up version of whatever it has to be, but it doesn't have to be like that. Some people are toxic when it comes to that. Some people like that. I don't know how, but they like seeing some women like seeing a man get all riled up and be super dominant and aggressive. Other girls like a calm man. They like whenever someone can talk to them about their problems, whenever they can talk to them about what they have going on, what's on their mind. You got another person that you're dealing with, but you also have to be in control of yourself to know, this is how I need to conduct myself during this moment. And the moment that you feel yourself getting more emotional, you feel yourself about to break out in rage, you got to learn how to control yourself. Why is it that I'm actually about to lash out? Do I not feel heard? Do I not feel understood? You know, is this person raising their voice at me? Do I feel like this conversation's pointless? What is the point and what is the reason that I want to get angry? What is the point and what is the reason that I want to lash out? And that's one of the things that a lot of men need to understand, is that we don't have to be so quick to want to, you know, I wouldn't say express, but we don't have to get so violent and so riled up every single time something doesn't go our way. Being emotional is cool, especially as a man. I'm not saying that don't be emotional. You just gotta learn how to control it. Learn how to, you know, because we have so much testosterone and dominance that we just want to be like, look, we're the man. We're here. Especially like, you know, especially if you're talking to another man, you like, look, I'm the big dog. I'm the big swole, whatever. And so now you feel like you got to be all, you know, huncho, when really all it could be is like, hey man, I just didn't mean it like that. I'm sorry. And then you be like, oh, all right, well, it's all good, man. You know, you just keep moving. Imagine every single time like someone stepped on someone's shoe on accident, they're like, man, you stepping on my shoes, they white shoes, they Air Forces, you know, they be wanting to, you imagine a person like wanting to get mad and crash out and you're like, oh, my bad, I just didn't mean to step on your shoe. They'll just be like, oh, I mean, who knows how that could go. But I'm just saying, like, it doesn't have to be as serious, right? It doesn't have to be as serious. And, you know, the emotions that a lot of people carry on a daily basis start to rub off on other people. You know, I get why if you had a long day at work, you come home, something happened, you might be so, you know, like quicker to lash out on your kids, or something happens, you want to, you know, react something to your wife, you know, or maybe you react to your parents and you're like, man, I shouldn't have reacted like that. But if that's the case, then just follow up and be like, hey, I'm sorry that I talked like that. I had a rough day. I had a bad moment. I was going through something was on my mind, and what you said made me react this way. Like, you just got to learn how to communicate instead of being super, you know, reactive. And that's one of the things that I've learned, especially in relationships. Like, just talk about whatever the problem is. Talk about whatever is on your mind. The power of communication is so strong because people don't know how to communicate, especially with their emotions. So what they do is that they sit there and they bottle it up. Or what they do is that they sit there and they want to talk to the wrong people about it. Or they sit there and they want to just kind of, you know, linger on it and hope that it goes away. But what people need to do is learn how to have conversations and talk about the moment. And what you do is that you say, hey, look, I want to talk about something, you know, let's sit down and talk about it. And if the other person is receptive, then that's great. If they're not, then understand why they aren't. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe they're feeling emotional. Then you got to be the calm person. You got to be the person where, you know, wear the conversation down. Understand where the other person is coming from, because the more that you sit there and you put the energy back into the other person to feed their energy and to feed their emotions, then the more it's going to make you, the more it's going to make them escalate to a place where it doesn't even have to be at. So be careful whenever you're doing that. Learn who you're talking to. You know what I'm saying? Learn who you're giving your energy to, because a lot of emotional people, it's because they don't feel like they're heard or understood. So they feel like they got to be louder, they got to be bolder, they got to be more violent, you know? That's one of the key things a lot of people don't understand. And so what I've learned in my life is that you got to learn to listen, slow down, and be rational, be logical when you're talking to somebody. Everything doesn't have to be super emotional and super chaotic. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's really all I got for y'all. It's a really quick video. I just feel like a lot of people, they aren't as emotional. Or not emotional, they aren't as proactive with their emotions. And they start to be super reactive. And the more that you're reactive to people, the more, you know, trouble it can get you. You start saying things that you don't really like, or not like, that you regret. You start, you know, doing things that you regret. And that's something that you can't always say, I'm sorry, and cover up. That comes with action, that comes with trust, that comes with forgiveness, that comes with different things, that all because you got super reactive and now you wanted to do something that now you got to find a way to recover from it and to say, I'm sorry. And if you're not holding yourself accountable to even say, I'm sorry, and you're like, oh, well, I meant that, or, you know, it was deserved in this moment, so that's why I did this, then you got to reflect on that. So that's really all I got for y'all in this video, for real. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and holler back at me. I'll catch you on the next video. Gone.